Good afternoon and welcome to Nora's Dog Training Company. We're here this afternoon with Coco and Rich, and what we're going to be demonstrating for you today on video is Coco's ability to understand and respond to her formal on-leash obedience commands, the correction and the motivation that we give the puppies when we're working with them, and the training equipment that we're using. Rich is using a regular 6-foot web training leash, and he keeps the bulk of that leash folded neatly in his right hand. That leaves his left hand free to give any correction that's needed, and the only correction that we give here at school is a small tug and release on the training collar, and that is the second piece of equipment that we're using. Coco is going to come home with her very own training equipment, and you're going to be taught how to use that tomorrow during our follow-up training session. Now, she is sitting very nicely at Rich's left, which is where all of our obedience training is done. And the first exercise that we're going to demonstrate for you is heeling. Heeling is proper leash walking, and the command is Coco heel. Now, Coco has one problem behaviorally where she doesn't make eye contact with you. So it requires a lot of verbal praise, and we give an occasional treat. And we're not a treat-based dog training school, but she does a lot better with positive reinforcement than with negative reinforcement. So we talk to her to keep her motivated, to keep her trying to get her to focus on us versus like looking in the opposite direction, and staying right with us during that heel, which means that her shoulders should not pass your left leg. And when you stop, she has been taught to sit automatically and wait for her next command. And the next command that we're going to demonstrate is the sit stay. The stay is a hand and a voice command, and because it is a stationary exercise, it is a one-word command. You're going to work this command up to 3 minutes. This is important for developing self-control and maturity. Now, she laid down on her sit, so Rich returns back to her, heels her out of it, and makes her do it correctly by holding slight tension on the leash straight up to get her to hold that stay. And then when he returns back to her, she should remain seated until he gets all the way back to where they started, and he gives her a lot of praise for doing it correctly. She's staying with him nicely. He talks to her as they're walking along very quietly to encourage her and telling her she's a good girl. He's going to leave her in another sit stay. And you see how she looks away, and that isn't really normal behavior. That's not what we're looking for, and that's why we're using praise and food to get her more focused on us. This time, instead of returning back to her, Rich is going to call her. This is your come on command, and she should come and sit directly in front of you, facing your knees without jumping on you. And then she returns back to heel and back sitting, and she gets praised for that. So we try to modify our training techniques to suit the personality of the dog and get the most out of them that we possibly can. And with Coco, you get a lot more flies with sugar. He leaves her again in another sit stay, gently pulls up on that leash to keep her from dropping into a DOWN. And then he uses her name and a happy voice, but not over the top, calls her in. She comes right in front and sits nicely. If she puts her feet up on you, she does not get praised and she does not get a treat. You just ignore her because we don't want her jumping on you. The heeling is very important for leisurely walks. She should walk at your pace. If you walk slowly, she should. If you speed up, she should. And when you stop, she sits very nicely. Now, the next command that we're going to demonstrate is the down from heel position. So with the dog seated at your left, you take your left open palm, push it straight down toward the ground, and give the one-word command to down and stay. Your stationary exercises can be practiced right in your home. They help to develop self-control, maturity, focus, all of the things that she lacks. When Rich returns back to her, he will quickly get back around her to heel position, back to her shoulders, where he stops. And at that point, she expects to get another command. So everything starts and stops at that heel position. And he'll demonstrate that down from a heel position again. So always have her seated first, left open palm straight down toward the ground, and the one-word command to down and stay. And she likes to lay down. I mean, that's one of her better commands. She likes lying down. Rich calls her out of that down stay. She comes right in and sits. Still working on getting her to focus and look up. She got an itch. Dogs are like kids. When you get them on camera, they can make you look very foolish. Now the next command that we're going to demonstrate for you is her down from a distance. So with her seated, you're going to leave her in a sit stay and turn to face her. You're going to use your right hand to give the command. Very good. That was a perfect down from a distance. Now we have demonstrated for you all of Coco's formal on-leash obedience commands. I have a ton of information to go over with you tomorrow when I bring her home. I do plan on being to you between 9:30 and 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. I'll do my best to stay on schedule. She has been challenging, but we've enjoyed having her, and we want to thank you for choosing Nora's Dog Training Company.